You might think your nighttime habits don't matter as much now that you're older. Maybe you believe that eating well during the day is enough, that your body knows how to rest on its own. But let me tell you something I've learned from both science and experience. For seniors, what you eat right before bed can either support your independence or quietly work against it. And no, we're not talking about medication, vitamins, or special teas. We're talking about something as humble as Greek yogurt. Yes, that thick, creamy, tangy delight often reserved for breakfast might just be the unsung hero of elderly health after 65. Let me tell you a story that might sound familiar. Eleanor is 76, a retired nurse from Minnesota. She's always been sharp, disciplined, a woman who believed in taking care of herself. But last winter, something shifted. She started waking up tired, with stiff joints and a cloudy mind. Her energy was low, her memory was fading. Her daughter noticed she was getting quieter, less steady on her feet, even forgetting where she'd put her keys, something that had never happened before. At first, the family worried it might be early dementia, but her doctor, who'd known Eleanor for years, suggested something unexpected. He said, let's look at what she's eating before bed. Not the whole diet, just that final meal of the day. That one seemingly insignificant detail, and that's when the conversation turned to Greek yogurt. Now, before you shrug it off as just another food fad, let me explain what makes Greek yogurt so unique and so powerful, especially for those of us over 60. First, it's rich in something called casein protein. This isn't your average protein. Casein is slow digesting, which means it feeds your muscles for hours after you've eaten it. It's a quiet, steady loss that steals our strength, balance, and mobility, often without us even realizing. And here's the truth most people miss. Seniors who consume casein-rich foods before bed have been shown in multiple studies to preserve more lean muscle and wake up with greater physical stability. It's not about lifting weights or building muscle like a bodybuilder. It's about staying strong enough to walk without fear, to get out of bed without pain, to live independently. Eleanor started having just half a cup of plain Greek yogurt before bed. That's all. No fancy supplements, no major diet changes, just one quiet decision at the end of each day. And within a few weeks, something shifted again, this time in a better direction. Her mornings felt easier, she was getting up earlier, feeling more clear-headed, and walking with more confidence. Her daughter called me and said, it's like we got a piece of her back. That's the impact of small, intentional choices. But the story doesn't stop there, because Greek yogurt is also packed with calcium, and that's critical for sleep. You see, the body produces melatonin, your natural sleep hormone, using calcium. After 65, melatonin production starts to slow, and that's one of the reasons so many seniors struggle with falling or staying asleep. A small serving of Greek yogurt, with its natural calcium content, can actually support your brain's ability to ease into sleep and stay there longer. Unlike sleep aids that leave you groggy or dependent, this is natural. It's how the body was designed to rest, nourished, and calm. Then there's Ronald struggled with restless legs and light sleep. He'd toss and turn all night, waking up more tired than when he went to bed. He tried everything, magnesium pills, herbal teas, even sleeping pills, but nothing gave him consistent relief. Then one day his wife read an article about casein and melatonin and decided to try something simple. She added a small bowl of Greek yogurt to his nightly routine. Within a few nights, Ronald noticed he wasn't waking up as often. Within a few weeks, he said, I feel like I'm finally sleeping deep again. Now every night without fail, Ronald sits in his recliner with a spoonful of yogurt and a quiet sense of peace. He calls it his night fuel. There's another layer to this, one most people don't talk about. The gut. After 60, your gut bacteria start to shift. That affects everything: mood, memory, immune strength, and even motivation. Greek yogurt is full of probiotics, friendly bacteria that restore balance to your digestive system. And here's what modern science has proven again and again. A healthy gut leads to a healthier brain. UCLA researchers found that seniors with more diverse gut bacteria had lower levels of anxiety and depression, better memory, and more social engagement. That's not a theory, that's fact. Food and brain chemistry are deeply connected, especially in older adults. So when you eat Greek yogurt at night, you're not just feeding your stomach. You're calming your brain, nourishing your nervous system, and anchoring yourself in something powerful. This is what I call elderly reflections in action. It's the quiet wisdom of doing the right thing for your body, even when no one is watching. It's about respecting yourself, honoring what your body needs in this season of life. Greek yogurt isn't just food, it's fuel, it's medicine. It's a nightly message to your muscles, your heart, and your brain. I still care, and the best part? It's simple, accessible, affordable. You don't need a prescription, just a spoon, a bowl, and 5 quiet minutes to slow down and choose wellness. Top it with a few blueberries or walnuts if you like, maybe a touch of cinnamon. Turn it into a ritual, because after 60, what we need most isn't another to-do list. It's small acts of intention done consistently with care. So tonight, as you consider what to eat before bed, I want you to remember Eleanor and Ronald. Remember that your strength, clarity, and energy tomorrow begins tonight. Greek yogurt? It might just be the easiest way to support your longevity, your independence, and your peace of mind. You're not just eating, you're investing. You're choosing a habit rooted in elderly wisdom, grounded in real science, and tailored for real life. If this speaks to you, if it made you pause and think, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Are you in the US, Canada, Europe? Your story matters. Your reflections matter. And if you haven't yet, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss a moment of inspiration, senior health, and real-life lessons from the elderly. This is Elderly Reflections, where motivation begins with compassion and longevity begins with a spoon. If the first chapter felt straightforward and inviting, that's by design, because simplicity is where true change begins. After 60, what your body craves is not complexity, but care. Not another wellness trend, but quiet, reliable routines that help you wake up feeling clear, capable, and calm. And while Greek yogurt plays a powerful role, it doesn't exist in isolation. Tonight, I want to share 2 other foods, humble, often overlooked, but incredibly effective, that when paired with Greek yogurt can multiply the benefits for your brain, your gut, and your heart. These foods are not exotic. You won't need to search a specialty store, but their effect, especially when eaten with purpose in the evening, can be profound. Let me take you back to a conversation I had with Harold. Harold used to believe that once you retired, your evenings were meant for television, toasts, and tea. That was his ritual. But he started noticing something strange. Despite sleeping 7 to 8 hours, he woke up foggy, unmotivated. His balance was off. He forgot appointments and felt emotionally flat. His doctor said his heart was fine, blood pressure under control, but Harold still didn't feel right. That's when his daughter, a nutritionist, stepped in. She didn't overhaul his entire diet. She just made 3 changes to his bedtime routine. Greek yogurt, yes, but also a second food, blueberries. Now, you may have heard that blueberries are brain food, but let me tell you exactly why they matter so much for seniors, and why eating them at night can help unlock better mornings. Blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, powerful plant compounds that improve blood flow to the brain, reduce inflammation, and support neural communication. That means your brain cells talk to each other more clearly, your memory sharpens, and your risk of cognitive decline decreases. A 2016 study from the University of Exeter found that seniors who drank blueberry juice daily showed marked improvement in memory and brain activity, especially in areas linked to decision-making and organization. Now imagine pairing that power with the slow-digesting protein and calcium in Greek yogurt. You've got a perfect combo, one food keeping your muscles strong, the other feeding your brain. Harold started eating a small bowl of Greek yogurt with a handful of blueberries every evening. Nothing fancy, no supplements, just real food. And within 2 weeks, he called me and said, "I feel like someone turned the lights back on in my head." He started walking again, reading more, reconnecting with friends, not because of a miracle, but because he finally gave his body the tools to rest and recover. Now let's add one more food to this evening routine, one that works like a gentle whisper to your nervous system. I'm talking about honey. And before you raise your eyebrows, let me explain. Raw, natural honey, in very small amounts, can be the perfect finishing touch to a senior's nighttime nutrition. Just a teaspoon added to Greek yogurt does more than sweeten it. Honey supports the liver in storing glycogen, which keeps your blood sugar stable during the night. That stability is key, because when blood sugar dips too low while you sleep, it can trigger cortisol, the stress hormone, to wake you up. That's why some seniors wake at 3 a.m., anxious or disoriented without knowing why. A bit of honey helps prevent that drop. It keeps the brain calm, the heart steady, the night uninterrupted. Eleanor, the nurse I mentioned earlier, swears by her nourishing blend. Creamy Greek yogurt, vibrant fresh blueberries, and just a touch of golden honey. It's not dessert, she told me. It's my evening medicine, but the kind that tastes good. And she's right, because when you combine these 3 foods, you're giving your body a trio of support. Protein for your muscles, antioxidants for your brain, and natural sugars for your sleep cycle. And here's what I want you to take away from this. The magic is not in doing everything. The magic is in doing a few small things consistently, mindfully, and with care. That's how elderly wisdom works. It doesn't shout, it doesn't rush, it doesn't need a label or a fad. It whispers gently through quiet habits that build strength one night at a time. When I talk about life lessons from the elderly, this is what I mean. Harold didn't need another pill. Eleanor didn't need a bigger supplement cabinet. They needed to remember what their body had been asking for. Real food, calm choices, nighttime respect. That's where motivation begins. That's where dignity is restored. Not in some grand change, but in the moment you decide, I still matter, my body still deserves care. So tonight I invite you to try this, just once. Take a small bowl, add half a cup of Greek yogurt, top it with a few fresh or frozen blueberries, drizzle a little raw honey, sit by the window, turn off the TV. Let this become your moment. Let this be your quiet promise to your heart, your brain, and your future. If this part of the video has touched something in you, maybe a memory, maybe a sense of possibility, I'd love to hear from you. Type in the comments. Where are you watching from? The US? The UK? Europe? Let's build a circle of wisdom together. Because we don't just need information, we need connection. We need stories. We need reminders that it's never too late to nourish ourselves with kindness. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tap the bell so you won't miss the concluding chapter of this journey. Up next, we'll reveal the nighttime snacks and drinks that quietly undermine restful sleep and heart health in seniors. Insights you definitely don't want to miss. This is Elderly Reflection, where every word is spoken with care, every story is rooted in science and heart, and every video is made for those who still believe that life after 60 is not the end of the book, but the most meaningful chapter yet. There's something sacred about the quiet hours after sunset, when the world begins to slow down and all you're left with is your body, your thoughts, and the choices you made that day. For those of us over 60, those hours carry more weight. The body no longer resets the same way it once did. Recovery takes longer, small mistakes linger longer, and that's why the decisions we make in those final hours, especially around food, can either become a source of healing or a hidden trigger for decline. In the opening chapter, we discovered the gentle power of Greek yogurt, packed with muscle-preserving protein, sleep-supporting calcium, and gut-healing probiotics. Then in the next chapter, we blended it with norberries and raw honey, crafting an evening ritual full of nourishment and purpose. Tonight, as we reach the final chapter, we turn our attention to something equally vital: the foods to avoid before bedtime. Because just as some foods help you sleep deeper, wake up clearer, and feel stronger, others do the opposite. And sadly, they often disguise themselves as comfort. Let me tell you about George Swanker. 82 years old, a retired school principal from Vermont. Sharp as a tack in his day, always had a quote ready, always remembered birthdays without a calendar. But after his wife passed away, something changed. His evenings became quieter, lonelier. So he started filling that silence with toast, crackers, a glass of wine. He told himself it was harmless, just something to wind down. But soon he noticed he was waking up dizzy, forgetting names mid-sentence, and needing more naps during the day. His daughter, a nurse, visited one weekend and noticed what he was eating before bed. "Dad," she said, "you're feeding yourself stress without realizing it." And she was right. Because here's the truth. Foods high in refined carbohydrates, like white bread, sugary snacks, or cookies, can spike your blood sugar right before bed. That spike feels good for a moment, but hours later, when blood sugar crashes, it triggers cortisol, the same hormone your body uses during emergencies. And when that happens at night, your sleep becomes shallow, your heart rate rises, and your brain wakes in confusion. That's not rest, that's survival mode in disguise. And yet many seniors unknowingly repeat this every night, believing they're winding down when really, they're winding up the stress response. Then there's alcohol. A glass of wine might help you fall asleep faster, but it disrupts REM sleep, the deepest, most restorative phase of sleep, and increases nighttime awakenings. Not to mention it dehydrates the body, inflames the gut, and weakens heart rhythm. Seniors who drink alcohol at night are more likely to experience memory lapses, elevated blood pressure during sleep, and even balance issues the next morning. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy wine, but not as a bedtime ritual. Not if your goal is clarity, strength, and long-term independence. Even something as simple as drinking too much water before bed can quietly steal your peace. Seniors are more prone to nighttime urination, and those frequent trips to the bathroom increase the risk of falls, especially in the dark. One misstep, one faint moment of dizziness, and everything can change. That's why mindfulness hydrations can be one of the kindest things you do for your body. So what should your evening look like instead? Picture this. 8 p.m. the television is off, or playing something soft. A small lamp lights the room. On the table, a bowl of Greek yogurt with blueberries. Maybe a sprinkle of walnuts. Maybe a drizzle of honey. A cup of warm chamomile tea if you'd like. You eat slowly. You listen to the quiet. You journal one sentence of gratitude. Maybe a quote you love. Maybe something you remember from a time long ago. That moment, simple, soft, intentional, is what I call nourishment with dignity. And that's what elderly wisdom teaches us. To honor the body not just with food, but with presence. George made that change. He replaced his toast and wine with yogurt and berries. He added dim lights and calming music. Within a month, he told me, I sleep through the night, I dream again, and I remember my dreams. That's not coincidence. That's what happens when you stop feeding your body stress and start feeding it love. And here's the most beautiful part of all this. When you sleep better, everything else begins to heal. Your memory sharpens, your blood pressure stabilizes, your inflammation drops, your motivation returns, because healing doesn't start in a hospital, it starts at home, in the small, quiet choices we make when no one is watching. So now you know, Greek yogurt is not just a food. It's a bridge between fatigue and strength, between confusion and clarity, between aging passively and aging with purpose. When paired with the right foods and protected from the wrong ones, it becomes part of a ritual that says, my health still matters. I still matter. If this series spoke to you, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? The US, Canada, Ireland, Australia? This is your community now. You're not alone on this journey, and I invite you truly to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you never miss a moment of elderly reflections, senior health, and life lessons from the ones who've lived enough to know what really matters. Because aging isn't about slowing down. It's about waking up to what nourishes, what heals, what connects us back to ourselves. Tonight, when you open your fridge, I hope you see more than a bowl of yogurt. I hope you see an opportunity to take care, to begin again, to choose something simple that makes a quiet, powerful difference. Here's to your peace, here's to your strength, and here's to your next beautiful morning.